Good morning, students. Today we are looking at a fresh topic entirely, stress on polysyllabic words. We are back again to orals. You know, English language has many aspects. We have grammar, writing, orals, comprehension, summary, rhymes, literature, and the rest of them. So this morning we are looking at the oral aspects. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to, 1, give a good definition of syllable. 2, differentiate between the different types of syllables. 3, give a good definition of stress. 4, identify the rules guiding syllabic stress in many words. A quick look at this will tell you that we are going to see expressions like syllables, stress, and syllabic stress. The instructional materials we'll use this morning are Complete English Course by Ukamaka Ibe, Chioma, New English Concept Senior Secondary School Book 1 by Joy Eyisi et al. And Oral English for Successful Performance by Joy Eyisi. We're going to have a revision. If you remember last term, we looked at stress. While looking at stress, we looked at what? Bisyllabic stress and monosyllabic stress. While this morning, we are going to continue with polysyllabic stress. We are going to see the difference between the three. What is a syllable? In speech, we combine vowels and consonants to form a larger unit called a syllable. I want you to listen again. In speech, we combine vowel sounds, consonants to form a large unit called a syllable. When we have two or more syllables, when two or more syllables may combine to form the unit, we have what? A word. For instance, we have the word speech. Speech. Speech just has what? One syllable. And in English language, we call it monosyllabic word. 1, it can be divided into 2. And we have some more examples like put, bird, bat, and so on. These words, they can be what? Divided into more than one syllable. Are a combination of vowels and consonant sounds. So the words like put is p, u, ts. Put. We have consonants, vowel, and consonant, all making what? A syllable that has just one unit. They contain just one syllable, and so they are called monosyllabic words. When a word has 2 syllables, it is called what? Bisyllabic. Remember, this is a revision class. We've learned this last term. When we have 2 syllables, that are called bisyllabic. When we have 1 syllable, it is called monosyllabic. For example, in the words conduct, 2 syllables, C-O-N, 1 syllable, D-U-C-T, another syllable. Then we have abject, 2 syllables, ab, 1, and ject. If you still remember in the topic we learned last week, I taught you something about what? When you stress the first, you unstress the what? The second. And that is what we are looking at this morning. The only thing is that we are going to now look at what? Polysyllabic stress. And I will still tell you the difference between mono, bisyllabic, and polysyllabic stress. While when a word has more than 2 syllables, it is called what? Polysyllabic. It has more than 2. It has more than what? 1. It's no more mono. It's no more bisyllabic. It's now what? Polysyllabic. So when a word has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or as the case may be, they're called what? Polysyllabic words. And these are the words we are going to look at this morning, and how to do what? To stress on the particular syllable that needs that particular word stress. Remember, we learned what? Emphatic stress the other time. We have words like education. How many syllables do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's divided into 3. We have primary. We have what? 1, 2, 3. We have election. You see how it's broken? 1, 2, 3. Then when we have these, there's a particular syllable that must be what? Stressed. And what is stress? Stress is not when you are being stressed out. Stress is not when maybe after a day's job, after lots of activities, you are tired. No. Stress in English is what? Is the prominence. If you listen carefully to the way I pronounce words or sentences, there are particular syllables or words that are what? Emphasized on or stressed on. So stress is the prominence or extra force assigned to a syllable in a word or to a word in a sentence in order to make it appear more audible than other surrounding syllables or words. This is an aspect of orals that you can't run away from. You will always have it in your orals examination, I think from questions 55 down to 60. Having looked at what monosyllabic stress is, bisyllabic, polysyllabic, and stress is now, we are going to see the stress pattern in polysyllabic words. Amazingly, we have what? Rules guiding this. And these are the rules that helps students to be able to do what? To identify the stressed or unstressed syllables. There are words made up of 3 or more syllables. A word could be made up of 6 syllables. Note generally that words of 3 or more syllables have their stress on the 3rd syllable from the end of the word. Prefixes and suffixes are usually not what? Stressed. You see, there's something beautiful about English. When you learn lots of topics, you wouldn't know where they will be what? Useful to you. Now we are bringing in what? The use of prefix and the use of what? Suffix. And I want you to get it that when stress is implied, you don't stress what? Prefix. Neither do you stress what? Suffix. And I hope you still know what they are. Prefix are those words, those root words that you add at the beginning of a word, while suffix is added what? At the end. Go back to your notes. So we're now going to see some rules guiding these polysyllabic stress. We have rules, but we have very few exceptions to these rules. The reason why we have these rules as a guide is that remember that we are Nigerians. In as much as English language is a lingua franca to everyone, but we are not what? The original owners of the language. And that is why these rules will help us. If not, most times we stress on syllables that shouldn't even be stressed. It's just like in a name, the name Mary. Mary is a noun word, and the stress should be on the first syllable. But because at times people pronounce the name Mary as what? Mary. Have you seen it? The stress now falls on the what? The second. But if you know the rule, you know that whichever way your mother tongue makes you to pronounce that word, that the stress should be on the what? On the first and not on the second. So I want you to understand why we have to use these rules as what? As helpers. So we have some guiding rules, and these ones are for the words with 3 syllables, which is what? A polysyllabic word stress. 1. Stress the second syllable from the end of a word which ends in the following. We have words that end in IC, IAL, ER, OW, ERE, EGE, URE, ATION, IOR, IST, ADE, ISH, EOUS, IOUS, DA, TURE. When you see these words that has these endings, I want you to use this rule to see how it works, and you pick up your dictionary to see that what these rules are applied in all these. When you pick your dictionary, you're not going to see capitalized words like this. Do you understand? What you see in your dictionary will be like in this one now. They say stress the second syllable from the end. There's an error here. This TIC shouldn't be capitalized. It should be written in what? In small letter TIC. And we have dramatic. The stress is on what? MA. So when you get your dictionary, the sign that tells you that MA is the stress syllable is that you just see a hyphen at the upper part like this. Just up there. If the stress is on the first one, you see it here. If it's on this one, the third one, you see it on what? On top of what? T. But for WAEC, they use what? Capitalized word letters, and that is why I decided to use it in this form. Then we have ulterior. The stress is on what? TE. Adventure. The stress is on what? Ven. So all these words that has these endings, the stress is on what? The second from the back. Because we are looking at what? Words with what? That has what? These endings. The stress should be on the second from the back. We have words like strategic. The stress is on what? TE. Together. You see, even if you don't even need to shout. Together. You see that the stress is on what? GE. But these rules will be of great what? Help to you. Because you can decide to do what? Okay, I decide to make TO my stress syllable. I'll shout together. You see, it's very wrong. But it's what? Together. You see that this one has what? That prominence. That higher what? Pitch. Tutorial. Conjecture. Grammarian. Phonetics. And it goes that way. Then we have these ones are the 4 syllables. Remember, the rule is still what? The same. 4 syllables tells us that there are what? 4 syllables means 4 what? Syllables. Inorganic. 4. I remember those words that have those endings. NIC, DEN, CIAN, TION, TIC, and the rest of them. Once it has these endings, you stress the stress is on the what? The second from the back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Conversation. Insufficient. Mathematics. Democratic. analytic. All these are what? Words made up of 4 syllables. Execution. Then we have the 5 syllabic words. Still having those words, endings that we saw at the initial word introduction. We have what? Confederation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apologetic. How many? 5. Organization. Organization. 5. Differentiation. Characteristic. And the rest of them. So we've seen 3 syllabic words, 4 syllabic words, and 5 syllabic words. Then we have 6 syllables. Remember, on onset, I told you we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to make a research. There are words that could have up to what? 8, 9 syllables. But for WAEC, they restrict it to 3, 4, 5. I don't think they even get to 6. But I want you to have an idea about 6 syllabic words, all which are what? Polysyllabic. Then here we have industrialization. You stress the word, the second from the back. Remember that rule for those words that have those words endings. Acceptability. Computerization. All these are what? 6 words, syllabic words. Generalization. Capitalization. Then secondly, we have the stress on the 3rd syllable from the end of a word, which ends in the following. The other one, we have stress the 2nd on syllable that has those words endings, but now we have different endings of words entirely. We have IFY, ITY, ATE, AL, IVE, ILY, UTE, TY, CAL, ITUDE, CLE, OUS, Y, IZE, ISE, MENT, TE, NESS, ABLE, BLY, ONY, ISM. The onus lies on you to do what? To put all these to memory. Because this will help you a lot to be able to do what? Identify the stressed syllable in any word given to you in an examination setting. Then here we have 3 syllabic words of these words that has this ending. And where do you stress them on? The 3rd from the what? From the back. The stress will always come from the what? Start counting from the back. You don't count from the front. Remember, the rule says count from where? The back. So now we have those words that has 3 syllables. We count from the back, and automatically the stress will be on the what? On the 1st syllable, because they are words with what? 3 syllables. We have article. The stress is on what? Regulates. Nobody. Bicycle. Demonstrates. Emphasize. Spectacle. Character. Obstacle. Terrible. Possible. Sarcastic. satisfy, government, management, and exercise. You see, the stress is on what? On the first. But you stress 1, 2, and 3. Now we are looking at those words that have the endings with 4 syllables. And you stress the word, the third from the back. In essence, the stress will now be on the word on the second syllable. Tribalism. Impossible. This S should be in what? This second S should be in small letter. Impossible. Irrational. Captivity. Majority. Technology. Nepotism. Politicize. Especially. Reciprocal. Conservative. Historical. You stress from the back. 1, 2, 3. You remember how I told you identify it in your dictionary? Just with a hyphen up here. Then we have 5 syllabic words that has those words endings. We have 1, 2, 3. The stress is on fac. I want us to count the 5 syllables in this word. We have satisfactory. Have you seen it? There are 5. Then you stress 1, 2, and 3. So, satisfactory. International. Inconsistency. Informality. Objectivity. Credibility. Possibility. Economical. Electricity. You stress from the back 1, 2, and 3. Then we have this number 3. Stress the first syllable from the end of a word which ends in the following. When we have those words that end in these followings, we stress what? The first from the back. Remember, we've seen stressing the second from the back, stressing the third from the back, and stressing the first from the back. What does it entail? It entails that you have to make use of your words. What do they call it in science? I don't know if I will have to tell you to cram, but you have to put these in your words, in your medulla oblongata, for you to be able to do what? To use these rules. So we have endings like stand, xert, duce, ployed, tain, noon, ree, rade, bey, plete, pose, come, rette, sine. So wherever you have these endings, the stress is on the first from the back. Here we have words like this. Like this one is what? It has 3 syllables. 1, 2, 3. Understand. You stress this. This is the first from the word. From the back. Interrupt. Introduce. Incomplete. Entertain. Decompose. Afternoon. Overcome. And magazine. So when you have all these, the stress is on the what? On the first from the back. If you are very careful to observe, you said that this one, has different endings, the other one has different endings, while the first one also has its what? Endings. And I want you to note, I told you on time that there are very few exceptions to these rules. And when you cannot apply these rules to some words, then you have to make use of what? The correct pronunciation has to come into place. We're now going to look at some questions, and these are the ways WAEC, NECO bring out questions related to polysyllabic stress. The instruction will always go like this. Choose the option labeled A to D, the one that has the main, have you seen it? And they will capitalize it, the main primary correct stress. Main, we've looked at the word main. Main what is important. When you say that something is primary, it's what? Important. And they are now using what? Correct what? Stress with the word given. In these words, only one syllable has the main primary stress. This syllable is written in capital letter. Then we have precedency. We have this on the first syllable, second syllable, third syllable, and the fourth syllable here. When you pronounce the word precedency, you see that the stress is on what? P-R-E, on the first word syllable. Number 2, we have autocratic. How many syllables do we have there? We have 4. Autocratic. A-U-T-O-C-R-E-A and T-I-C. And when we looked at the rules, when we have this, the stress is on the what? On the second. Autocratic is on what? C-R-A. Number 3, we have facilitate. What does it mean to facilitate? To do what? To aid, to help. And we have how many syllables there? There are 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've seen it divided here. This is just the exact way you have it in your questions. And when it ends in A-T-E, you stress the word where the third from the back, and we have 1, 2, 3, and which is what? This one, C-I. Then we have information. We saw lots of what? T-I-O-N. And when the stress is on information, on T-I-O-N, we stress what? The second from the back. And we have 1, 2. And the stress is on what? M-A, information. In your dictionary, you will simply have what? A hyphen here. Number 5, we have intensify. We saw words that end in I-F-Y. You stress what? The third also from the back, and we have 1, 2, 3. And the answer is on what? 10. Intensify. And we have the stress on what? This. So for your revision, you can get your textbook. You have some questions there. You can also go at the back. There are lots of oral questions that you can practice with. You can also still go further by going through past questions, WAEC and NECO past questions, to do what? To get acquainted with this. Also, you can form words and try to do what? To bring out the stress syllable using those rules, and afterwards you use your dictionary to assess yourself. These are the answers to those questions there, and we'll see in our next lesson. Thank you.